Hello all. So welcome to the new video of SNORT installation series. And in previous videos, we have learned about the concept of IDS, IPS, firewalls, like what exactly the SNORT is, how the rules are working, what are the syntaxes of SNORT, and what exactly SNORT does once it will install in your virtual machines or any of the servers with wherever you have set up your infrastructure. Now, in this video, we will be going to learn how we can install SNORT, how we can configure that, and how we can create our own rule so that if we want to capture or we want to check like whatever the request which is coming from the outside of the internet or outside of the server or outside of the infrastructure of yours, like what kind of services your service or your server is getting once it will call by any of the services. But before that, we have to check what exactly the architecture I am presenting in front of you in this video, just to demonstrate what exactly the SNOT is and how it is working. So let's get started.
It's also able to look at many different rules. The things that we looked out for were exploits, scans, denial of service, DNS rules, web type traffic, SQL traffic, shellcode, backdoor.
Okay, now as you can see here, I have installed two virtual machines. The one is, which you are showing right now, is the machine 1, and the second one is machine 2. As it now, if I check what exactly, oops, sorry. Now I have to check what exactly IP address which is assigned to the machine 1 and the IP address which is assigned to the machine 2. Now if we go to the machine 1, we will type IPA. Now here we need to understand, we need to focus on two different things, the interface and the IP addresses. Now here the interface is ENP0S3. Now that is the interface which is provided by the bridge adapter of your VM virtual machine, and it can be vary in your case also. Now the IP address which is assigned to the machine 1, this is 192.168.29.238, and of course this is also be different in your case. Now if we go to the other machine, we can say okay, so this is our machine 2, and if we run this thing, okay, now here also the adapter is same, ENP0S3, but the IP address is different. Now that IP address is 192.168.29.58. Now you wondering about like why these IPs are different in both the machines. This is because the DHCP protocol of my router, which assign automatically the IP address to each and every new servers, or we can say the new machine, whenever the machine will be boot up every time. Now if we go with the machine 1, now we have to install SNORT in machine 1. Now the scenario will be, for this demonstration will be, I will be installing SNORT in machine 1, and I will be configuring all the SNORT rules in the machine 1 itself. And from machine 2, what I will do is like I will start sending the request to each and every services. Now services in terms like, if I want to access the FTP of machine 1, if I want to access SSH in machine 1, if I want to ping machine 1, so every action will be alert, will be blocked, but whatever the action I will be defining in my SNORT rule, it will act only on based on the SNORT rule itself. Whatever the request I will send from machine 2, and whatever the rules is defined as per the services which we are trying to send or trying to request to the machine 1, it will be act according to the rules only. Now if we go to the installation part, what you have to do is like sudo apt get snort. Easy, right? Now as you can see, it will ask to install all the related libraries, files and other utilities. So just hit yes, and we have to wait for some time. Okay, as you can see, here you will be getting the IP ranges. Now what exactly IP ranges here is, so we are getting 192.168.29.58. for the machine 2 and 238 for machine 1. Now the range will be it will goes like 192 168 to 29.0/24. Now that will be the range of my internet, right, my router. So what it will do, it will take automatically an interface, because we only have one interface in our complete machine. There are no other interfaces are there, so it will take automatically default ENP0S3 and it will configure according to that. But let's say if you have multiple interfaces, then you have to mention that particular interface at that particular installation. So you have to focus on that part only, but that is not a big deal actually, but only you have to check what interface you will be going to interact at the time of this alert sort of thing. Now our snort is completely installed. So just to make sure about like if your snort is installed or not, there is one step, or we can say one way to check that, just to check the version of that particular utility. So what we have to do, we have to do -- version, of course. So sudo snort -- version, and if you can see, you will be providing the version, whatever the version installed in that particular machine, or we can say the server where you want each and every packet analysis, or we can say every request analysis, whatever coming and coming to that particular server from outside of that internet or whatever, like from anywhere. If your server is getting any of the requests to get access to that particular service to the outer world of that server, so it will capture that according to rule, of course. Now what we have to do, we have to do some configuration in the configuration of snort, and that configuration is related to the IP range of whatever the IP range you have provided, right? Now if you go to the cd/etc snort and snort, now before jumping into the configuration of snort, you have to create a backup, because snort configuration is so complex. If you do some changes which can be leads to a misconfiguration, it might create a problem for you to create a new server, or it will create a disturbance in your server too. So just to avoid these problems, create a backup file of your configuration. So for that, what you have to do is copy your snort file followed by sudo conf snort conf and bak. Now as you can see, we have two files, of course, the snort.conf and the snort.conf.back, the backup file, in case if we misconfigure something in the main configuration, right? So now we have to go with sudo nano and snort.conf. Now as you can see here, there like snort is providing each and every small detail in that particular configuration, and that configuration file is very, very important for this particular snort configuration. Now if you can see these numbers are nothing but the categories wise configuration which you need to taken care of as per your requirements, right? Like whatever the requirements you needed at your infrastructure, you need to take care of those only. So we can go down, and our very first configuration is homenet. Now that is something which we need to taken care of, because we need to define the IP ranges of that particular snort server, or we can say the snort where the snort is. So we need to mention that particular range, because that only in that range your snort will be acting a major role in that getting alert or getting block notifications, right? So moving forward, we will define our IP range, that is 192.168.29.0/24. And if you go down, you will be seeing all the information against DNS server, SMTP server, HTTP server. Now if you focus one thing, there is a small thing called $home_net. Now that variable which we have defined here, we have defined the IP range. Now what exactly does it mean? So whenever any of the IP in this particular range if any of the requester will request for any of the server, let's say SMTP server on 192.168.29. Let's say 24, which is lie under that particular range. Now, if that will happen, what SNORT will do is SNORT will send some of the SNORT will check each and every IP of this particular range. So let's take an example, right? Now, what exactly the role of that home underscore NAT is? Now what happen is like if any of the external requester is requesting to connect with the HTTP servers, or we can say the SSH service of the IP, let's say 192.168.29.24, let's say. Now that IP is completely lie in that particular range which we have defined in the variable of home underscore NAT. Now what it will do, so once this particular request will raise, your IP will be checked, and SNORT will check like, okay, something is coming, or something is like someone is requesting some SSH server on that particular IP. Now SNORT have to check like if that IP lies under that range. Now SNORT has to act on that, and it will give the alert, or it will give the block, or whatever the rule if we decide for the SSH service itself. So that is the role of that particular thing. Now if you go down, so as you can see here, there are multiple paths which you have been defined. So that so like there is a folder called rules, which you will be getting rules path log, every rules of SNORT which is provided by the worldwide developers or the security researchers. So based on that, you can get whatever you want to do. Now, as you can see, there are a specific local.rules files also, where you can modify or you can create your own rule and paste that particular rule in that particular local.rules files. Now, what exactly it will do? It will take that particular request only, or it will take that particular rule only, and it will capture whatever the request you are getting from the outside of the network. So if you want to do that, you can do that also. So in demonstration, we will see how we can create a rules, and how we can paste that particular rule in that local.rules files, and how that particular rule will work as per our plan. So if we go back, we have saved that. Now if we can check like sudo snort -t capital -I small enp 0 s3 -c etc snort.conf, and it will give you a congratulations message. SNORT successfully validate the configuration. Now we have confirmed this thing like, okay, we have installed the SNORT, we have configured the SNORT configuration, and we have complete the setup for the same. So we need to create the rule file, and for that we have run the command sudo touch and local.rules file, and that should be created in the rules folder only. Now we will create that, and we will going to add that particular thing. Now we have to create a rule for the same, and for that we will do some of the configuration that we have discussed in the very first video of the of this particular series. So we will start with alert, then we will going to alert for a ICMP request on that particular machine 1 which is coming from the machine 2. So for that we have provided any, and that any is nothing but like any IP will get an alert, like whatever the IP will give the ping to that particular server, it will going to alert the same. So I have just recorded the previous session, so I'm just voice overing on that. Now I have mentioned the home NAT which we have discussed, and the message which will be going to display once the machine 2 will start pinging this particular machine 1. So we have completed the rule. Now we have saved that, and what we have to do is we have to run that particular command. Now after running that particular command, what you have seen, like the console is just started. and we will start pinging that particular machine 1 from the machine 2. Like once I start that particular pinging from machine 2, you can see clearly the log has been generated at the machine 1 where the console is just started for the snow machine or the snow rule. So this is how actually the snow works. Like once a alert will popped up, like once someone is trying to get access to any of the servers, then your snort will start capturing those requests and start displaying on your machine where the snort has been installed and where the rules has been created. Thank you for being with me on the last part of this video. So till today, I have created videos on the basic concept of IDS, IPS, the firewalls, and this about the snort, how we have to install the snort and how we have to configure snort. Apart from that, how we can create the rules itself. So I hope you learned something new with this series, and I will definitely going to work on more content so that you can easily learn like the concept of security aspects in each and every domain of the cybersecurity field. So stay tuned for the new videos. Bye bye.